How's it going, guys? I hope you like my new holiday themed intro. As you probably guessed, we're going to be reviewing some Christmas horror movies this year, and we're starting off with Once Upon a Time at Christmas. It's a new Christmas slasher directed by Paul Tanter, and it stars Simon Phillips and Sela DeGode as Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and Laurel Brady and Brooke Fletcher as Jennifer and Lucy. The film opens up in the parking lot of the town's mall with a brutal decapitation of one Santa by another. It's a great way to introduce the movie's villains, but unfortunately it's pretty much the high point of the entire movie, and it all tumbles downhill from there. There's essentially three plots going on at once in this movie. The first follows the police who are trying to solve the sadistic Christmas killings. Thankfully, the sheriff, played by Barry Kennedy, and Deputy Sam, who's played by Suicide Squad's Jeff Ellenberger, are two of the film's best characters. The sheriff is under pressure from the town's crooked mayor to keep the murders quiet and solve them quickly so that the holiday shopping season isn't ruined. And while I understand the commentary on capitalism and Christmas greed, it comes off really ham-fisted and just feels unnecessary. The second plot follows Jennifer, her mom Lisa, and her group of friends. Lisa's going through a divorce, and Jennifer takes a job at the mall as an elf to get away from her not so great home environment. I'll come back to this thread later though. And third is the thread following Mr. and Mrs. Claus as they make their way through Woodridge, killing people left and right, increasing their number of victims for each day leading up to Christmas. If you couldn't tell, there's a lot to keep track of here, and while 2 out of 3 of the plots are pretty good, when they all come together, it's done in a really sloppy and just underwhelming way that brings the whole movie down as a result. Even worse is the acting, which is all over the place. Like I mentioned earlier, Barry Kennedy and Jeff Ellenberger, they both do pretty good jobs in their roles, but Laurel Brady's performance as the main character in this movie is an absolute mess. It almost looks like she's about to crack up at times, and Brooke Fletcher is in a lot of the same scenes as her, and she's just as bad, if not worse.
Whoever's there better show themselves. Courtney?
Hey, is it okay if I didn't want to be alone, even in daylight.
Now I understand and I guess hope that this movie was going for an 80s slasher B-movie type feel, but when you have that kind of tone, you have to set an acting quality ceiling, because if one performance stands out above all the rest, it makes it look like you weren't doing it on purpose, and that's unfortunately what's going on here. The whole movie suffers for it. A slasher movie is only as good as its slashers, and just like the main characters, Mr. and Mrs. Claus are complicated. It's almost hilarious how clear it is that they're the Joker and Harley Quinn Christmas edition, straight down to the fact that they met in a mental hospital. Unfortunately, Sela DeGode isn't given very many lines beyond begging to kill teenagers, so for a lot of the movie she just laughs, and it doesn't really even make sense a lot of the time. It's really just awkward. I didn't like it at all. Simon Phillips, however, is pretty good as Christmas Joker. He wields an axe, which is a great homage to Silent Night, Deadly Night, and his British accent and cloudy eye make him fun to watch. And that's why it's a huge bummer that any sense of tension or fun is ruined by the fact that the movie is dragged down by really bad digital blood effects. The makeup and prosthetic work here is on point. The aftermath of kills looks great, and Simon Phillips' scarring on his face and his eye also look pretty awesome. I don't understand why the same amount of effort wasn't put into the blood effects. This is a slasher movie. The one thing you have to get right is the kills looking good, and they don't. That is a big problem. One scene I liked initially that got completely ruined 5 seconds later is when a girl looks under a bathroom stall and gets shot in the face by a crossbow bolt. That all looks pretty good, but she gets up, turns to her friend, and her friend gets shot in the heart. As soon as the girl gets shot, you see the effect. It looks terrible. It's all digital. It just looks awful. And then the girl smiles as she dies. She has a giant grin plastered on her face. It's just embarrassing to watch, and I don't understand how that take even made it into the movie. Like, ask for another one. Once Upon a Time at Christmas is a horror movie with big aspirations and a really good idea, but unfortunately the fundamentals get left behind, and that's what makes it so hard to recommend. If you do check it out, you should let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if you want to watch a really good Christmas horror movie, I'd recommend Better Watch Out. It just came out on VOD services, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you want to see more on that, you can check out my review right here. Anyways, guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.